Dear shareholders, good morning and a very warm welcome to the 29th Annual General Meeting of Manappuram Finance Limited through video conferencing or other audiovisual facility. As a reminder, for the smooth conduct of the meeting, the members will be in the mute mode. The audio and video will be opened when they speak at the AGM as per the pre-registration. Please note that, as per the requirements, the proceeding of the Annual General Meeting are recorded and will be made available on the website of the company. I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Manoj Kumar VR, the Company Secretary of the company. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. I am Manoj Kumar, Company Secretary of the company, joining this meeting from the registered office of the company at Manappuram House, Valapad, Kerala. In compliance with the restrictions imposed on gatherings by the central government and respective state governments on account of novel coronavirus outbreak and pursuant to circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and SEBI in this regard, this meeting is being conducted through video conferencing, other audiovisual means for the second consecutive year. With respect to the above circulars, I would like to take you through some certain points regarding participation in this meeting. The facility for joining the AGM for shareholders is arranged through video conferencing, other audiovisual means in association with the NSDL. As informed previously, once the question and answer session starts, we will announce the names of those who have registered as speaker shareholders. Speaker shareholders will be unmuted during the question and answer session. Shareholders are advised to use earphones to ensure audibility. If the speaker shareholder is having any connectivity issue at their end, the next speaker shareholder will be asked to speak. Once the connectivity improves, the speaker will be given an additional chance to ask questions. All efforts feasible under the circumstances have indeed been made by the company to enable members to participate and vote on items being considered in the meeting. Live streaming of this meeting is being webcast on the website of NSDL for shareholders. Since the meeting is held virtually, requirement of appointing proxies is not applicable. Registers as required under Companies Act 2013 is now open for inspection. Members seeking to inspect registers can send email to the company at co-secretary@manappuram.com during the course of AGM. Now I am inviting our Honorable Chairman, Mr. Jagdish Capoor, sir, who is attending the meeting from his residence at Mumbai. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Manoj. I am Jagdish Capoor. I am the chairman of the company. I am attending the meeting from my residence in Bombay. I welcome members to this 29th Annual General Meeting of the company. Before I proceed further, I will request my fellow directors to introduce themselves to the participants. It may be in the order given by Manoj. We can proceed.
Good morning, shareholders. I am Abhijit Sen. I am an independent director of your company and I serve the audit committee. I am joining this meeting from my residence in Mumbai. I hope all are safe. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Shailesh Mehta. I am attending this meeting from my residence in San Francisco, and I am the chairman of the Remuneration and Nomination Committee.
I am Advocate V. R. Ramendran. I am attending the meeting from Ernakulam. I am an independent director of the company and the chairman of the Shareholders Relations Committee.
Good morning and a warm welcome to the shareholders. I am Shrutapa Banerjee, independent director, attending the AGM of Manappuram Finance Limited from my residence in Mumbai. I also chair the CSR committee. Thank you.
Good morning, shareholders. I am S.R. Balasubramanian, additional director in the company. I am attending the AGM from my residence at Mumbai.
Good morning. I am Gautam Narayan, non-executive director of your company. I am joining this meeting from my office in Lower Parel, Mumbai.
Good morning. I am Harshan Kollara, director, joining the AGM of the company from my residence in London. Thank you.
I am P Manomohanan, independent director, joining this meeting from the head office of the company. And I consider it is a rare privilege for me to join all of you on this auspicious occasion. And I wish all of you good health and prosperity. And I also wish the all success.
I am Javindra Babu, non-executive, non-independent director, attending this meeting from MAFIN headquarters. Nobody is along with me in this room nor access. Thank you.
I, P Nandakumar, Managing Director of the company, is attending this annual general body meeting of the company from the registered office of the company at Valapad.
Good morning. I am Bindu, CFO of the company, joining the meeting from the registered of the company at the Manappuram House, Valapad.
That completes the introduction round. As the requisite quorum is present, I call this meeting to order. Before we begin the meeting, let us pray silently for a minute for the souls of those who have lost their lives due to the coronavirus pandemic. Thank you. Dear shareholders, it's with pleasure that I welcome you all to our 29th annual general meeting for the fiscal year 2021. I hope you and your family members are all safe and in good health. I would urge you to please continue to practice all safety protocols and adhere to all government guidelines in this regard. We are living through unprecedented times. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected every aspect of our life today. In India and around the world, thousands have lost their lives and millions lost their livelihoods across the world. Business and industry suffered as exceptional measures were required to be taken to contain the pandemic. Today, the good news is that we are finally beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. With the accelerating pace of vaccinations, we can be hopeful that the worst is behind us and that very soon we can go back to normal life. At Manappuram too, we have seen good progress with the pace of company-sponsored vaccinations of our employees, who are mostly youngsters. They became eligible for vaccinations only in June. Almost all have now completed their first dose, and we expect to have full vaccination coverage for all employees very soon. Against all the challenges of the year that went by, I am happy to note that Manappuram Finance Limited has once again turned a good performance. Our consolidated OM grew by 8% to 27,224 crore, and our net profit has increased by 16% to 1,725 crores of rupees. Our branch network stands at 4,637 branches. In our mainstay business of gold loans, there was good growth during the year, with the OM increasing by 12.4%, going up from 16,967 crore to 19,077 crore. Considering that our gold loan OM in financial year 2019 was only about 13,000 crore, this represents 2 years of very significant back-to-back growth. Our next most important business is microfinance, which is carried out through our subsidiary Ashirwad Microfinance Limited. We ended the year with an AUM of 5,985 crore, a growth of 8.8%, which is creditable considering the stress the sector had to face due to pandemic-related factors. The next in importance is our commercial vehicle and equipment finance business. Here we did face the brunt of the lockdowns, with AUM declining to 1,053 crore from 1,344 crores the year before. Our housing finance business is carried out through our subsidiary Manappuram Home Finance Limited. The business did well under the circumstances, growing its AUM to rupees 666 crore from rupees 630 crore the year before. This amounted to an increase of 5.8% under the most challenging circumstances. Importantly, both microfinance and housing loans subsidiaries managed to remain profitable during this challenging year. Credit for the overall good performance must go above all to the management of the company and its employees who have worked hard to make this possible, and my congratulations to them. A key enabler for the good performance of the company was its strength and capability in the digital domain that allowed us to take some innovative approaches using digital platforms to connect with customers and ease their concerns at a time when most banks and NBFCs had become risk-averse and hesitant to lend. As you know, the main product of our company is the humble gold loan, which is a loan offered against the security of used household jewelry. At a time when risk aversion was high, often the only loan available in the market to common people was the gold loan. It has been our experience that in periods of acute economic stress, the wider financial services sector, that is banks and non-banks alike, is also put to stress. The consequence is that their lending activity slows down drastically as the appetite to risk and disbursing new loans falls. At this point, gold loans become the natural fallback for the common man denied access to their regular sources of credit. These days, there is also a lot of talk about how the pandemic may have permanently changed some aspects of our life and way of doing things. We are told that the post-pandemic investment landscape is set to place greater value on environment, social and governance disclosures, commonly known as ESG. A recent E&Y report says that the COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the importance of ESG issues and accelerated the transition to a more inclusive capitalism. Investors feel that companies that do well on ESG would be the less risky and better positioned for the long term, and also better prepared for uncertainty. Further, companies that promote stakeholder interest would come to have a competitive advantage over those that believe in business as usual. In this context, it is important to understand how the gold loan business of NBFCs improves lives at the grassroots. By its very design, gold loans extended by formal financial institutions have several positive externalities that merit consideration under social impact. I would therefore like to take a couple of minutes to talk about the social impact of gold loans. Let us begin by considering the income effect from access to gold loans extended by formal institutions. India holds the world's largest stock of private gold, estimated at anywhere up to 30,000 tons. Less well known is that rural India holds about 65% of this gold, and that poorer and financially excluded classes also own gold in significant measure. That has come about because gold is historically a preferred avenue to park one's savings when people don't have access to banks and other formal channels. Gold loans, NBFCs, cater to the lower socioeconomic classes who lack access to the formal financial institutions and depended on high-cost informal money lenders for their credit requirements. When gold loan NBFCs expand their reach, many in this segment get access to formal finance for the first time. While interest rates are higher than what the banks would charge from the borrower's perspective, the shift from informal money lenders that is enabled by gold loan NBFCs represents an increase in disposable income of the borrower. Now let us consider how well suited this product is for those employed in the unorganized sector. About 90% of India's workforce is employed informally, and gold loans are ideal for such people who would lack documents to prove their income. This is a segment conventional banks generally avoid because their appraisal and credit scoring is based on formal documentation. And now let us consider how common people can improve their efficiency with access to our gold loans. When people get access to credit with a minimum of hassle and no time wasted, it releases their time to do work that is productive. Gold loans are typically small ticket loans taken for short durations, and thanks to technology and modern management techniques, they have become a source of instant credit to ordinary people who depend on daily wages. To them, this is a blessing. Otherwise, there is considerable opportunity cost involved in trying to get hold of a loan where the paperwork and other formalities involve sacrifice of your daily wages for a day or 2 days or even more. So, these were just a few points about gold loans that go to show the profound social impact that organized gold loan players make, and these benefits therefrom are reaped mostly by the poorer section. And now, before I conclude, I would like to place on record my gratitude to all the board members. Their valuable guidance during the year is much appreciated. I would like to thank the management and employees of the company, led by its Managing Director and CEO, Mr. P Nandakumar. The past year presented many unique challenges, but the company has managed to negotiate all these difficulties with ease to deliver even better performance. Finally, and most importantly, my sincere thanks to all the shareholders of this company, without whose support over the years we could not have come thus far. I seek your continued support and good wishes for the continued progress of the company. With this, I close, and thank you very much for listening. Coming up next is a short video on the revered founder of Manappuram, the late Sri V.C. Padmanabhan, after which I would request our MD and CEO, Mr. Nandakumar, to take over.
It all began on the seashores of Valapad, a village by the sea like any other, unremarkable, nondescript. But one man made it different. For here, on these beach sands, begins the story of a man and a son who went on to redefine the non-banking financial business in India. V.C. Padmanabhan's journey that began on the sands of Valapad went on to change the lives of millions in rural and urban India. Many decades ago, V.C. Padmanabhan, a son of these very sands, came back from the island of Ceylon where he had gone to make his fortunes. As he mingled with his people here, he could see they had needs, they had dreams, often not realized, only because they did not have the money. Some ventured, all the same, only to fall into the trap of unscrupulous money lenders. And that was how Manappuram Financial Trust was born. Born out of an idea, the power of gold, the power to shape your destiny, change your fortunes with what lies in your own hands. A simple idea, given wings by the steadfast vision of the man who also dreamed, but whose dream was to help ordinary people realize their dreams. When VC Padmanabhan breathed his last in 1986, he left behind a modest business with one small office in Valapad. But it had acquired a wealth of goodwill, and that enabled his son to take forward the vision and power its growth. What began by earning the trust of the people of Valapad has now earned the trust of millions all over India. VC Padmanabhan's vision was taken forward by his son VP Nandakumar. And over the years, Manappuram's footprints were indelibly imprinted all over India. Today, Manappuram Finance Limited dominates gold loans as one of India's foremost NBFCs, managing more than 27,000 crore of assets, with over 4,600 branches across India and more than 30,000 employees. No matter how far we have come, every day at Manappuram, we remember and salute the vision and foresight of this man, our founder.
Mr. Nandakumar, over to you.
I'm delighted to welcome you all virtually to our 29th annual general meeting for the financial year ending March 31st, 2021. The trust of our customers and the dedication of our employees helped us achieve profitable growth in an especially turbulent year. Our consolidated AUM grew by 8% to 27,224 crore, and our net profit improved by over 16% to 1,725 crore, the highest ever. As you all know, fiscal year 2021 witnessed a once-in-a-century crisis in the form of the COVID-19 pandemic. The lockdowns that followed disrupted almost every economic activity. The global economy went into a tailspin and the economic activity contracted sharply. authorities around the world responded to the crisis with large monetary and fiscal stimulus, plans to safeguard the lives and livelihoods. As a result, economic activity levels are reviving everywhere. However, in India, the lockdowns imposed to combat the spread of the virus had a devastating impact on the economy, with GDP growth slipping into negative. Since then, there have been signs of sharp recovery as well, driven by manufacturing and construction sectors. Government spending also went up significantly, with a focus on capital expenditure to hasten the long-term growth. Many high-frequency indicators show improvement, and the recent news about India's GDP registering a 20% growth in the first quarter of FY22 reinforces the view that the economy will bounce back. Your company was able to withstand the strong headwinds and reported profitability even in its non-gold verticals like microfinance, affordable housing, and commercial vehicle segments. We were helped by our investments in technology, which allowed us to offer customers the best-in-class products and services, even as our branches were closed due to lockdowns. Through our online gold loan product, our customers could transact with us and borrow additional amounts even during the lockdown. Many were in acute need of funds, and we succeeded in providing timely service to them. Our gold loan portfolio showed a significant growth during the initial lockdown phase. For a while, this was the only credit product readily available to the customers, as risk aversion spread through the financial year. The environment was also supportive, as gold prices had increased sharply during this time, creating the headroom for borrowers to borrow more. While the momentum in the gold loan business continued, our new business verticals showed resilience. Non-gold verticals have accounted for 30% of our consolidated year-end AUM of 27,224 crores. Our AUM grew 8% over the preceding year. Along with the growth in AUM, the highest ever net profit of 1,725 crore. We have delivered an attractive returns to our investors with ROA of 5.61% and ROE of 26.17%. Our net growth stands at over 7,300 crore, and our standalone capital adequacy ratio is healthy at 29%. The overall picture is of growth and profitability, and we are confident that we can further improve our performance in the times to come. During the year, international prices reached the peak of $2,000 per troy ounce in August 2020, and then corrected sharply to the levels of $1,700 by March end. Our gold loan business has evolved to become resilient to such price fluctuations. In 2014, your company has put in place a strategy to reduce the exposure to gold price volatility. We opted for a short-term gold loan product as the best way to manage the gold price risk. Accordingly, we shifted almost the entire gold loan portfolio to a tenure of 3 months, a departure from the industry practice of granting gold loans for a tenure of 12 months. The short-term product offers benefits to both to the customer and to the company. The company can manage the price risk and asset quality prudently without taking away the flexibility from the customer in terms of his credit requirements. The periodical renewal of the loan and the regular servicing of interest by the customer enforces credit discipline, and it lowers the interest burden on the customer. The customer can also renew the loan indefinitely by periodically settling the interest and resetting the principal to the prevailing gold price. Ever since the outbreak of COVID-19, we have engaged in a race against the time to become ready for the new normal. Within a few days of the lockdown announcement, we succeeded in extending work from home facilities to almost all our employees. This became possible only because of the technology initiatives we have been implementing over the last 4 to 5 years. We started our Green Office project by implementing the paperless system of moving files to make the operations of the head office completely paperless. We conduct all our review meetings online through digital platforms with considerable savings in time and travel costs. Your company was the first gold loan NBFC to launch the online gold loan OGL application back in October 2015. It is today the most successful application of its kind in the industry. The initial adoption was relatively slow, but after the pandemic struck, there was a marked pickup. Along with OGL, we now offer doorstep gold loans, where the customer need not visit our branch at all. Our executives call on them at their homes and complete all formalities and disburse the loan on the spot. Things are changing because of the pandemic, and we are determined to stay ahead of the curve. And now, I would like to make some acknowledgements. I am grateful to the regulators and policymakers for having fostered a conducive environment which has allowed us to perform to the best of our potential. I want to thank our senior management team for demonstrating the ability to execute the vision of the management under the difficult circumstances of the recent period. I want to thank all our employees for their efforts and our customers for continuing their long-standing relationship. Also, I want to thank our board members for their unwavering support and guidance during the past 1 year. While we are constantly focused on our customers, employees, and shareholders, we have continued to support our communities all around. The Manappuram Foundation has made a tangible difference to the communities across India. Members present in the AGM through VC and who have not cast their vote on the resolutions through remote voting shall be eligible to vote through the e-voting system of NSDL till 30 minutes after the conclusion of this meeting. Since the notice of 29th annual general meeting of the company has already circulated as per the directions of MCA and SEBI, I take the notice as read. There are 6 items proposed in the notice to be passed by the ordinary resolutions. Since the AGM is being held through video conference, other audio-visual means, and the resolutions mentioned in the notice have already been put to voting through remote e-voting, there will be no proposing and seconding of the resolutions. The remote e-voting was open from September 6, 2021 to September 9, 2021. Let us proceed to the questions and answer session. 8 shareholders have registered as speaker shareholders. Now, the chorus will announce each shareholder's name.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session.
One, we have received the following 2 queries from Dr. Amit Vora through email. And I will read out the question and answers. 1. You have started a new scheme. Where is the interest on gold loan is 0.58% per month or 7% per year. Will this lead to deficit in your rate of borrowing is around 8%, and rate of lending in the above case will be 7%. How will that affect the balance sheet? The answer is the newly introduced 7% scheme, Manappuram Kisan Gold Loan, is mainly as a support during this pandemic and for attracting to enhance the gold loan portfolio. The base rate of the scheme is 24% and giving rebate based on the promptness in the interest payment by the customers. Rebate to the customers is ranging from 3% to 17%. The 7% mentioned in the advertisement is for the customers remitting monthly interest promptly. All other similar gold loan companies and banks offering similar products, our blended yield on this portfolio will be in the range of 11 to 12%, and which is higher than our cost of borrowing. He has also a second question. Any plans to expand more branches from the existing 3,400 odd branches? The answer here is the expansion of branch network depends on the approval from the Reserve Bank of India. We have already submitted request to Reserve Bank of India for opening new branches, but we have not yet received the approval. We are waiting for the approval. Thank you for your questions and your active participation. And feedback motivates us to perform in a more efficient and effective manner. Now, other speakers are present through the video. Yeah, they will.
Thank you very much. I request our first speaker shareholder, Mr. Rushabh Sheldaral, to please proceed with his question.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is Rushabh Sheldaral, and my DPID and client ID is IN 30098210818640. And I speak not just behalf on myself, but numerous investors or investors who have been long-standing happy shareholders of Manappuram Finance Limited. Some of us have been shareholders of the company for over a decade now. Just a couple of questions citing Manappuram Finance, gold loan, and the microfinance business. So the first question pertaining to the fact that what is exactly the market share of Manappuram Finance in the gold loans segment? Presently many of our banks have started the gold loan business also, and how are we as a company going to withstand the kind of competition that we are seeing, not just from banks but also from the fintech companies? I ask this question especially because gold loans in the past 1 year have surged almost 77%, whereas our gold loan advances have decreased 7% year on year and 13% quarter on quarter. And I'm sure that COVID is not the only reason for this decrease. So I would request you to kindly explain that what is the present market share and how do we plan to withstand the competition. One more question in continuation of that only is that are we actually conceding market share to the competition? Because the numbers that you have disclosed in the last investor presentation, that our gold loan tonnage has decreased from 65 tons to 58 tons in Q1 FY22. And in the midst of a temporary default, are we just because Manappuram's policy is to have a 3-month gold loan, and if they don't pay, we sell off the gold. So are we actually permanently losing customers? That is one of my key address. I would like VP Nandakumar ji to please address this issue, because I feel that we have lost almost 2 lakh customers in a matter of 3 months. Also, one question pertaining to the separation of the Ashirvad Finance unit from Manappuram Finance. So, do we actually plan to, separate Ashirvad Finance from Manappuram Finance and, actually get the true value of Manappuram Finance, because Ashirvad has been a big drag on our profitability. And one more question is pertaining to your dividend payouts. So, it has been observed that over the past few years, the company has been actually, there has been a lot of, I would say, disparity in the amount of dividends, the payout ratios that we have said. So, in 13-14, we had a close to 70% payouts, which, has been continuously decreasing. So, so where is this money being deployed? Because there are a lot of private sector banks, a lot of NBFCs who have been very aggressive in their branding also. So I feel that we as a company, we have withstand a lot of storms in the past 2 decades. So if we actually brand ourselves properly, I think Manappuram Finance has a long headway for growth. I hope I have made all my points clear. Thank you once again for this opportunity, and I wish the management and the senior team all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will hear the other 6 shareholders also. Before answering each of the points raised by every shareholder, I would like to answer each of the points raised by every shareholder. In order to avoid duplication, I wish to hear other shareholders also, because there will be that duplication of the repetition can be avoided. So please proceed with other questions also. I will answer to each and every query.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Santosh Kumar Saraf to please proceed with his question. Mr. Saraf, if you can unmute yourself from your end. Mr. Saraf, on the right hand side top, you can see the unmute icon. So you can just unmute yourself from your end.
Hello.
While we
Yes,
now we are listening.
Yeah, you are audible.
Thank you. Okay. Respected Chairman and board members and my fellow shareholders, my name is Santosh Kumar Saraf. I am from Kolkata, sir. I hope you and your family and all our employees and their family are in good shape and good health, sir. I express my condolence to those people who left us, our employee or other brothers and sisters. So I pray to God, give them Om Shanti and Om Shanti, and also request to God to give their family help to come out from this hard time and grief time, sir. Hey, your company very good. So nothing to want to ask so many questions. I only want to, what is your capex plan for the next 2 years, and what is your loan book at present, sir? What is the loan book position, sir? And what a step you've taken to include more and more women empowerment, sir. I think women empowerment means country empowerment. Country empowerment means social empowerment. Social empowerment means our home children empowerment. So I request you to give the more empowerment, and you have to assure if get a chance, they can show their ability. In the last finished Olympic, they lifted 115 kg. In the boxing, they received medals. In the wrestling, they received the medal, and hockey, they also received the medal. Sir, my one question related to my friend, Mr. Satish Kumar. Mr. Satish Kumar, he taken loan from your Manappuram Perry branch, sir. His 6th loan he had taken, but in the COVID time he failed to pay the loan in time because there is 2 lockdown continuously, sir. So your branch not informed, without any ask, he auctioned his goods, sir. He's taken in 2022. So, sir, in the lockdown, there are so many problems arises because the offices closes, bank are not properly working, physically not allowed by government to come out. So, sir, I think it is a very bad, sir, without informing and without settle with Satish Kumar, your petty branch taken this up. In the COVID time, you also was in the home, never out, because the Tamil Nadu is a very sincere. So I want to taken the action against those who take this type of bad events, sir. So I request you, please help my friend Satish. He is a very middle class man. So, sir, kindly help him how you can solve the problem, sir. Sir, next, sir, once again I wish for all our employees and all our directors and their family and all our shareholders, all our clients and all our branch managers and for their family for a financial year 2021 for happiness, wellness and prosperity and for safety, sir. Sir, lastly, I think when a physical meeting we get some hospitality from you, sir. So I request you. So, sir, we are from Kolkata. if possible, then can be courier, sir. Thank you, sir, and wish you long life under your leadership and under your management. Company doing very well. I wish God continues with health, you and a long life, you and family, and all our employees. Those are involving in our company growth. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Namaskar, sir.
Thank you, Sadhguru Kumar ji, for your kind words.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Vikas Kasturi to please proceed with his question.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I had a few questions on the gold loan business. So the first one is, sir, could you please enlighten us on the growth drivers in this business, sir? So one thing that you mentioned previously was that we are not getting approvals from RBI for setting up branches. So in the absence of branch growth, how are you planning to grow the gold loan business, sir? So the second question is, sir, our 3-month gold loan product seems to be ultra conservative. So I appreciate the reasons for that, sir, and you have enlightened us in the past annual reports also. But as a result of us being ultra conservative, our largest competitor is being seen as more lenient and more empathetic towards the borrowers, right? And therefore, my humble opinion here is that, sir, our brand is losing out in the market because of this. So any plans to launch a longer duration product and so on, sir? These were my 2 questions, and thank you for the opportunity. And sir, if I may add, excellent arrangements by Chorus Call for this AGM, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Ramesh Shankar Gola to please proceed with his question.
Yes, sir. Okay, what is sir?
Yes, sir, you may please proceed with your question.
We hear you.
Sir, may I sing and audible, sir?
Sure. We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, very good morning, Chairman sir, Jagdish Capoor ji, and our beloved Nandakumar, MD&CEO sir, and Company Secretary, and all of our directors. Very good morning to you, sir. And we are celebrating our AGM, 29th AGM. Is a very good manner and nicely conducting, sir. This is a very auspicious day of our Ganesh Chaturthi din, sir. Very happy to say it, sir. Sir, under your leadership is our company is going very much going, sir. And but sir, you are taking so many steps, sir. But what is, sir, our जो हैदराबाद में, I am रमेश शंकर गोला speaking from हैदराबाद, sir. जो हमारा हैदराबाद में, sir, जो प्रिंसेस बहुत देखने को ज्यादा रहता है, सर. उधर जो कंपनी में जो करने वाला स्टाफ 1-2 रहता है, सर. वो प्रिंसेस वाला और अच्छा सेंटर में, वो अच्छा सा लोकेशन में, अच्छा सेंटर में देख लेके छोटा प्रिंसेस है तो भी थोड़ा लोगों को नजदीक रहना, वो देखते सभी लोगों को देखते रहना, सर.
Ramesh, can you ask me the question in English? If possible, I would welcome that, because my knowledge of Hindi is very, very limited.
Sir, we are taking small premises and situated in a very nice location, sir. That is I am asking, sir. That's why जो ये जो रेंट पे करता है ना, सर, we are giving rent. His small premises is so commercial, sir. Is less. That's why you taking that much step, sir. And sir, sir, मेरा point catch हुआ sir आपको?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, revenue in the coming year, what sir, bonus share and rewarding for very good dividends, sir. I'm asking, sir, in our all India offices working with 100% staff and other persons, sir, vaccination are completed 2 doses is 100%, sir. Sir, this is very much important point, sir. Sir, in the Telugu ad, sir, TV ad is very good seeing, sir, nice videos, sir. What because Daggupati Venkatesh film actor is a nice one, and in Tamil, sir, Vikram is just I have seen, sir, in our video. Is that also be very good, sir. I see आप अच्छा videos वो लोगों को दिखाते चलना, sir. Sir, in any new sectors entering plans is there, sir. Please throw on some light, sir. Sir, only we are going only one sector, not, sir. Going other taking other steps also, sir. हम ऐसा करते जाए तो सर जो रेवेन्यू इज वेरी बढ़ते जाता, सर, इज ग्रोइंग, सर. That is my question, sir. Sir, our brand value is good, sir, and very familiar in public, sir. Manappuram Finance is very good value, sir. Sir, please see our hospitality, sir. Say to our company CS also. Sir, coming year, if any capex, sir, हम कैसा वो बनाते वो भी देख लीजिए. इस टर्नओवर के बारे में भी हम कैसा प्लान करें तो हमारा रेवेन्यू जनरेशन बढ़ता, वो भी देख लीजिए, सर. How many customers were defaulted in our Manappuram Finance, sir? Please tell me, sir. Sir, हमारा जो सेक्रेटरीट टीम एंड आवर कंपनी सीएस को हम अच्छा सा बधाई देते, सर. एंड कोरस टीम आल्सो timely is calling and taking best much steps, sir. That's why I am आपके सामने बात कर रहे, sir. Thank you very much for giving this very good opportunity. Sir, आपको चेयरमैन जी, आपको एंड आपका फैमिली मेंबर्स को सभी के लिए हैप्पी गणेश चतुर्थी, एंड हमारा जो एमडी के लिए और अभी सभी डायरेक्टर्स के लिए ये प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर से आपको बधाई देना. मेरे को ये फर्स्ट जो ज्यादा सा जो फेस्टिवल टाइम मीटिंग नहीं रहता, सर, ये हमारे हैप्पीनेस को ये बढ़ाया, सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच, सर, एंड गुड ऑल विशेस, सर. वी आर सपोर्टिंग टू यू, सर, एंड कभी भी आपके पास आए तो प्लीज हमारे को आपको के लिए परमिशन दे दीजिए, सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच, एंड
Thank you, Ramesh Chakarji. Very happy Ganesh Chaturthi, and all prayers. I will answer your all your questions in the due course. Next.
Thank you. Now I request Mr. Amit Mantri to please proceed with his question.
Sure.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, Nandakumar ji. First of all, wish you and the entire Manappuram family good health and safety. So I had a few questions. So the last couple of years, we have seen a big decline in market share for Manappuram. All the other leading players in the gold finance business like Muthoot Finance, Muthoot FinCorp, and IIFL Finance have been able to grow their loan book, but we have been struggling on that front. In fact, I think earlier Manappuram used to be the second largest gold finance company in India. Now, because of the decline that we have seen in the gold loan AUM recently, Muthoot FinCorp has now become the second largest player. So Muthoot FinCorp has an AUM of 18,000 crores in the gold loan business, and our AUM has come down to 16,500 crores. So couple of the reasons why a lot of people say this is happening is because one, Manappuram has a 3-month gold loan product, which is fairly conservative from our side. It's good for our balance sheet, but from a customer satisfaction point of view, it might be a bit of a challenge to have such shorter tenure because it leads to a much higher rate of auctions if there is any kind of gold price volatility, as we have seen over the last couple of quarters. And the second factor is our interest rates are clearly much higher than most of the other players. When you look at, for example, the Muthoot Finance or IIFL Finance, and again, high interest rates are very good for our profitability, but from a customer satisfaction point of view, again, it might make the Manappuram gold loan less attractive option. So the question is, given what we are seeing in terms of market share loss over the last few quarters and even pre-COVID as well, is there any change? Is there any plan to change some of the product category characteristics in terms of having a higher loan tenure or reducing the interest rates to ensure that we are competitive on that front? So that's the first question. Second, this you had mentioned about this RBI not allowing us to open new branches. This has been now the case for a long time that we have not been getting approvals to open new branches. So can you explain what is the reason for this? Is there any issue that RBI sees due to which it is not allowing us to open new branches? So that's the second question. The third question is on Ashirvad. We noticed that Ashirvad has been hiring very aggressively. In fact, I think over the last 1 year, there has been a 50% increase in the employee base. So it looks like there is a plan to grow the Ashirvad business fairly aggressively. So it would help if you can give some update on what's the growth plan for Ashirvad in terms of AUM, and how the recent collections experience has been post the second wave that we have seen recently. Have collections improved substantially, or is it still a challenge? The last question, again, going back to the gold loan business, do we expect a further decline in gold loan AUM even from the Q1 decline that we saw of 13%, or now are we back on the growth path? That's all my questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I will answer in due course.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. VP Nandakumar, that was the last question. We had Mr. Nitin Bhai J. Mistry, Mr. Rushit Balsari, and Mr. Krishnan PS who had registered themselves as speaker shareholders. However, they could not join the meeting. So over to you, sir.
Okay. So thank you, beloved shareholders, for meeting you though virtually and explain our positions to you directly. And any follow-on questions also I am more than willing to answer. So to Rishabji's question about the exact share of Mahfil in the organized sector. In the unorganized sector, it is our estimate that it is at least 3 times higher than the organized sector. 3 times. Organized sector comprises majorly 3 segments. One, the banks. The second, cooperative credit system. And third, the NBFCs. Amongst the organized sector, our share is around 1.5%. The organized sector comprising of these 3 segments, major segments. Next question is the competition from banks and non-banks. Banks, they had a leeway for a brief period of time when the LTV for their customers was increased to 90% as against 75% for NBFCs. That is over this year. This was only for a few months. And you know, had we been allowed and we used that opportunity, we would have depending now. The reason is the current price, which is around 4,400 rupees per gram, and during that time when the leeway was available, the gold price has gone up to 5,400 rupees, more than 25, nearly 25% higher than 21% higher than now. And now you see the amount they have lent is much higher than today's gold price. Now I don't, the market, we don't feel such a competition from the banks as you are talking about. The NBFCs, we are quite capable of handle that, if at all it is there. And so the next question is, see, about competition, you need to take the growth during the last 10 years between the largest gold loan player and us. You will see the same rate of growth. And this year also, what I expect is around 10 to 15% growth. This year also, as I have been telling you in the past. This year also we will be able to deliver minimum 10 to 15% growth, irrespective of a decline during one quarter. So, you talked about the loss of customers. One reason was our branches were in a lockdown condition due to this pandemic. Now, having our branches opened throughout India and our employees reached, the customer acquisition and the old customers coming back have come back to the pre-COVID level. And you will see the customer growth in the coming quarters. Next is the Ashirwad separation from MAFIN. So we are not decided about that. We are not decided about that. One thing we need to understand about the microfinance business as a whole. Microfinance business is there in the country for the last 30 years. And this is, and our business was capable of delivering around 5% ROA and nearly 25% ROE. But for 2 occasions, we were not able to deliver that. One was during the demon, which was very, very unprecedented, which the country has not faced such a situation in the past. And second is the pandemic, which is the most unique. Once in a century, we hear that such things come. So these things we don't expect that to happen again, recur again during the next 5 to 10 years at least. So I believe that that business is strong, and that business will be able to deliver an ROE of over 20%. What is our expectation? Next is the dividend payout ratio. Our dividend payout ratio, our dividend to the customers are good, and we have a standalone Tier 1 capital of around 29% against the regulatory requirement of 15%. But we hope we'll be able to use that capital for growth. Now, some reversal of the trend is only temporary because of the prolonged pandemic situation, and we will be able to come back. About branching, we started the reminder again through repetitive branching, and the results are available. In the coming quarters, you will see, yes, the assurance that 10 to 15% growth with the gold AEM is possible or not, you will see in the coming quarters. The second is the question from Mr. Santosh Kumar Sharaf. One is about the capex plans. We have applied to the Reserve Bank for opening 200 branches. It is not right that we have not been granted the license in the past. Before this COVID, we have opened 200 branches with the approval of Reserve Bank of India. And again, we applied for opening 200 more branches. But because of the pandemic, the RBI office was not functioning with full strength. They were taking up only important matters. And I hope the sanctions will come in due course. Then things are back to normal. So, Santosh Kumar ji also was talking about women empowerment, etc. That's why we are into MFI loans and gold loans. These are to a great extent MFI only to empower ladies, to empower them, to find out self-employment, and gold loans also. These are being used by women also in a big way. And 30% of our employees are also women. And Mr. Santosh ji was also talking about, without informing, the gold was auctioned of some of gold of jewelry of some of his friends. One of his friends was auctioned. It cannot be right, Santosh ji. The reason is, before auctioning, we ensure that the customer is duly intimated. Without that, we don't do. By any chance, it is very, very rare, rarest. If that is done, we are prepared to compensate such customer, which will not be there, or we have all the records. We ensure that. And you see, it is not 3 months. It is not 3 months. 3 months is the duration. We give the customer another 3 months. So totally 6 months. For what? Just to remit interest. During the pandemic, we have done other facilities also. One, if the interest is remitted for 6 months, we again gave all those customers another contract. Means his gold will not be auctioned for another 6 months. So once in a year, he is expected to remit interest only. Not only that, during this COVID period, we have done another convenience to the customer. If the interest after 6 months of pledge, after 5 months of pledge, if the interest is remitted only for a month, then 1 month the extension was given. Again, 1 month interest. So don't think it is, we are compelling any customer to redeem. It is not. What we are telling is, it is good in the interest of the customer. If he service at least interest once for 5 months, the loan he will be able to better redeem. And you know, if you take the auction, if you take the last 3 years, if you take, the auction was less than 0.5% of the dispersal. Last 3 years, it was less than 0.5% of the dispersal, because last 2 years prior to this, we have not done any auction, and when the gold price went up, the customer had the facility to increase the loan amount through 1 lakh. And all these have come. In spite of that, during the last year, the total auction during the last quarter, last year, only 2%. That also because of the extreme situation of this pandemic, and we have given all considerations to ensure that the auction is reduced. Next is the question from Vikas Kasturi. So that also it's about gold loan, about growth, etc. Are we losing share? See, wait for a couple of quarters, 2-3 quarters. I have been reassuring the market. Yes, we are hopeful of growing at a compounded annual growth rate of 10 to 15% every year. Even in spite of the pandemic, I am pretty sure about keep up that word. And about branch approvals from RBI, I have already answered. We got the approval for 200 branches, and before the pandemic, just before the pandemic, we opened 200 branches. Then we again submitted for 200, and we are waiting for the approval. He didn't say we are not getting approval. What I have said, I might have told in the past is, without prior approval, we cannot open branches. That's what I would have perhaps told. So about 3-month product, see, the data show that 1 year provider and 3-month provider are growing at the same rate, and our auctions are less only. This is what I have told. But for some customers now, like large ticket customers, about 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, etc. Now we have given a flexible tenure. It can go up to tenure 6 months, so he gets around 9 months. There also he needs to remit only interest. And about whether we can remain as the second largest gold loan company. See, at present, rather than answering whether it is possible or not, my request to you is to see the results in another 2-3 quarters. Then be convinced. From our side, we are very much convinced. And from Ramesh Shankarji's question about vaccination to employees, Yes, 50%, 100% of our employees are vaccinated with one dose. The second jab is given to around 25% people. And yes, the bonus shares will, we have not taken any decision. And anything in the interest of the shareholders will be done in consultation with all the stakeholders, and the board will decide. And entering new sectors, so as of now, we have no plan. We are already, as an NBFC, we are into many of the most of the sectors in the lending space. Then one suggestion about increasing the space in the branch, definitely we will look into that. Next is Amit Mandriji's questions. We declined 2 years. It is not right. It is not right. 1 quarter is right, not 2 years. The decline is not right. Yeah, 1 quarter decline was there. Then again, what I am telling is, as I have been telling, I will be able to demonstrate a growth of 10 to 15% even during this year. Then interest rates are higher. Yeah, we move targeting a growth, targeting a profitability. We want to increase our customer base also, tonnage also. So our board decides to achieve that, to protect our customer base and grow our customer base. What is needed, the decision is taken from time to time. Next is Ashirwad plan. Yes, I have told already about Ashirwad. Yes. So whatever we have seen, we are very conservative. Our board is very conservative in its accounting policies. We have fully provided, and we don't expect anything surprising. Now things are coming back to normal. The collections now are over 95%. As the employees have reached, the branches opened, it is steadily improved. And about capital allocation from the parent company to Ashirwad. So it is our informal understanding. Our focus at the consolidated level will be more on gold loan. So we want to allocate minimum 50% of our capital for gold loan, minimum. And another 35% for secured loans. Secured loans like affordable housing, vehicle finance, secured micro SME segments, etc. And 15% for unsecured, 1.5, that's microfinance. So the capital allocation is so far allocated is much lower than that. And if the microfinance company outgrows their capital requirement, their requirement is more than this, they will raise capital from the market. It can be from private equity or through an IPO. So it will be decided from time to time. We have not taken any decision. The concerned board will take a call. So I believe that I was able to answer most of your questions. Anything left, it will be my pleasure to answer that question also. And also any follow-on questions, you are welcome.
Thank you, MD sir. Now moving to the
you can go ahead.
And now moving to the vote of thanks. Financial year 2021 was an unprecedented period which the independent India has ever witnessed. The novel coronavirus pandemic and lockdowns imposed on account of it impacted the whole economy. Still, your company has swam against strong trend and solid during the turbulent period and posted robust results. Now, on behalf of the company and management, I am thanking all our shareholders for joining with us for the 29th AGM of the company. You are our strength and support, have backed strong and believed us on even turbulent times. We are expecting your continuous support. Now, on behalf of the chairman and board members, I am thanking our auditors, Deloitte LLP, have continuously supported us for the last 4 years. The secretarial auditors, KSR and company, ensures the company remaining compliant with various corporate laws, registrar and share transfer agents, SKDC Consultants Limited, and the NSPL Chorus Call officials, and our scrutinizer, Mr. Suresh MB, practicing company secretary. We are also grateful to the central and state governments, our regulators, the Reserve Bank of India, the SEBI, Corporate Affairs, and the stock exchanges for providing us favorable environment for doing the business. I also thank on behalf of the management, Jagdish Capoor, our chairman, our respected board members for their wholehearted support in managing the affairs of the company. Their knowledge and expertise and experience always help us achieve more. Irrespective of day and night, whatever the time may be, they joined the turn for various states of the company with their zeal and enthusiasm and provided their input. Thank you very much, sir. Now, for going to the conclusion, as our MD informed those shareholders who have yet they will have an option to vote until 30 minutes since the completion of this meeting. The voting results declared along with the scrutinizer's report shall be communicated to the stock exchanges, NSDL and RTA. The same will also be displayed on the company's website on or before September 13, 2021. And now, with your consent, I request our Honorable Chairman to officially conclude this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. I think with this we have transacted today's agenda and we come to the end of today's proceedings. I thank our shareholders, our officers and employees, the auditors, and my fellow directors on the board for being associated with today's AGM. The meeting agenda having been completed, I may be permitted to close the meeting. Thank you.
Dear members, as advised by the scrutinizers, the time for e-voting has elapsed, and they are of the view that all members who are participating in the annual general meeting have been given adequate time and opportunity to vote at the AGM. This concludes the proceeding of the AGM. Thank you for participating in the AGM and e-voting.